Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Now go home and get your shinebox.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Get Your Shine Box. I think I over musiced myself on the intro.
What's that supposed to be, Paul and myself?
Well,
that's what he claims. Yeah.
well, we were playing around, and it was perfect for this evening. Apparently, we had a little bit of a mix-up, and I do apologize for.
And by the way, I did find somebody to cover me. I didn't mention that before they start here.
Yeah,
right.
I got that, but yeah, that was a little bit of a mix-up because I figured I'm a doer. So you had a conflict in scheduling. I fixed it. I fixed it a little too quickly, so that was my fault. But
news from the Planet of the Apes would fit real nice right about now, but I don't have anything prepared. Anybody pay attention to Tennessee this past week?
what happened in Tennessee?
Well, do tell.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh no, the young black legislators that got kicked out.
Oh yeah, that was interesting actually.
Yeah,
I must have been living in under a rock this week. I was in.
Well, that's why my new news agency is going to bring you all these breaking news stories.
Whoa! Wait a second. That's breaking in itself. To say what? Your news agency.
Well, yes, I run several news agencies. I have the Dark News Network.
Okay.
Which but then
the dark news, is that racist? The Dark News Network?
Well, it's not that kind of dark news, but
okay.
They are tangentially connected, I guess you'd say. But news from the Planet of the Apes will be more, probably more along those lines.
You sounded a little hoarse.
Yes, I must have been yelling at people or something. I don't
know. Speaking of horse,
horse face. Huh?
Who is Stormy Daniels?
Yes, exactly.
But that's
that ain't Daddy's little girl no more.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Oh, her daddy's so proud of her, huh?
Yeah. He probably watches her OnlyFans page or whatever. I don't know what they do nowadays.
I don't know if she has. I think she's too big for that. But did you catch obviously we got bits and pieces from the Piers Morgan show, but geez, oh man, I think she's only 43 and she's looking rough.
No, that can't be. Really? She's 43?
Yeah, she was born in 79,
well,
right?
You know what? We'll get into it a little bit and get a little more particular. But the whole point is, who is the real Stormy Daniels? And it was like, oh, who hasn't done a story on Stormy Daniels? But we haven't done one this way because this is what this is about, isn't Stormy Daniels? Nobody really cares about her. Nobody cares about so-called hush money that's been, we've been conditioned to think is bad. Predicates to a RICO. It's not. Everybody does it. But the real story is, we got him now. That's the real story.
Yeah, the walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in, yeah. And it's been going on for what? 7 years?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
2016 anyway.
And
don't you love that? Don't you love the fact that before he went into politics, everybody was kissing his ass?
Well, yeah, but he didn't bow to the
never.
He didn't bow to the check the chat there, buddy.
He never did. But everybody that is trying to bury him right now was licking his ass.
As soon as he came down the golden escalator.
Yeah. Well, also he was talking about getting out of wars and that sort of thing, which is absolutely, you cannot do that. Just ask JFK. Oh wait, we can't ask him.
No, and we can't look at the 2,000 documents that were supposed to be unsealed by law that the Biden administration is still keeping under wraps.
Because they can't let you see that the government killed the president.
Yeah.
They can't let you see that.
Where's my beep button?
What's that thing on the side? Is that like text? Never mind. Anyway,
man.
this whole
Amazing.
thing, they want to bleed. Well, they want to do a lot of things. They want to bleed Trump fiscally by having to defend against all this crap. That's part of it, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, and so this indictment, and I can't say so-called because it's an actual indictment, even though it's a joke. That this is the first piece of the pie that the left sycophantic freak show is able to actually sink its teeth into after all of these years. Because you saw all the memes. We've seen the memes of the crazy people, and we got them now. So.
But they didn't even charge him with anything. I mean, what do they charge him with?
An indictment is a charge. It's just that's a whole.
Well, this is just the beginning.
Yeah,
they've got Georgia coming up. They've got they got that special counsel guy, special prosecutor in DC, Agent Jack Smith. Yeah,
Jack Smith.
Yeah, and he's a bad guy. He's a dirty. They're all dirty.
Well, just as a reminder, and Paul, you turned me on to this clip that I hijacked.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. So just as a reminder, I think the volume will be all right. If not, just lower your monitor a little bit.
Praise the Lord, we've got him now.
We got him now. And Joe had a good point, but you can reiterate after the clip.
The walls feel like they are closing in.
But as the walls close in around the president,
Donald Trump feels the walls closing in.
I think this is a guy who feels like the walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on him.
Because the walls are closing in.
The walls are closing in on the president.
Now the walls appear to be closing in.
Really kind of the walls closing in on him.
The walls are closing in because the walls are indeed closing in.
I think at this point, the walls are spinning.
The legal walls are closing in. The walls are closing in on President Trump.
The walls, meanwhile, are closing in on the President of the United States.
The walls closing in on President Donald Trump.
It appears that the walls are closing in on this president.
he feels that the walls are closing in on him.
The walls closing in on him.
The walls are closing in,
And the walls are closing in.
that the walls are closing in on the president.
Are the walls closing in?
The walls are closing in on the presidency.
It says as the walls begin to close around him. Is the political walls closing in on him?
This is a president that feels the walls closing in. The walls are closing in on Donald Trump.
I think we get the point.
The walls are finally closing in.
The walls, the walls,
The walls.
The walls.
The walls.
The walls.
Walls and the walls.
The walls.
are
Closing in.
Closing.
Closing in.
closing in.
Closing in on.
It's closing in.
The walls are closing in on President Donald Trump.
He's not looking forward to any of it. He's
Oh
horrified.
my God.
He's just talking big. The walls are closing in. As
He could crush you, you asshole. All these morons, these leptons, they get the email what to say, and they don't know because they don't have an original thought in their head.
I was just going to make a point about that.
They just keep repeating whatever is told to them, like freaking sheep. It's just it's insane.
Joe,
Yeah.
the walls are closing in on them.
Yeah, they're closing in.
I'm thinking to myself, all the money that whatever the successor to MK Ultra is, all the money they spent coming up with the perfect phrase that will put a picture in your brain of some danger closing in. All the money they spent on the walls are closing in to come up with that perfect phrase. And some bimbo from CNN says, I think the walls are spinning.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, stick to the script, honey.
She's
You're not
an
that
outlier.
smart.
She's an outlier.
Yeah. Yeah, you always get that one or two that trying to spin it off a little bit.
Right.
Trying to,
They don't understand how much money's been put into this.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. She's probably no longer with the mainstream media. We had to let her go because she stepped out.
That's right.
Just read the script.
Would you sign my petition?
Yes.
Yeah, unbelievable. But so it was.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I used to work for a company, right? I used to work in a bond house. We sold money basically, and we had a cold call clients.
You give me $100,000 for $300,000 30 years in the future.
But we cold called people, and we had a script, and you did not go off that script, or you got fired because the script works.
Yeah.
It works. It's a psychological. You know what? It's the numbers. You just keep pounding it. It works.
That's why they do it. That's why there's negative campaigning. That's why there's script writing. That's why there's a mockingbird media, because it does work. Now, I will say, I informally broke down the masses. It won't work with about 30% of us, and I'm broad stroking. We know that.
Yeah.
There's 30% of us, and we're representing them right now. 30% of us who see through this garbage because we have the gift of discernment, which is, in other words, we have a bullshit meter.
Yeah.
That's fine tuned like an F1.
Mine is very sensitive. I don't know about you.
Very sensitive. No, we're not talking about your taint. Very sensitive. It's beautiful. And then there's 15% of the birds with their mouths open in the nest that come and they take anything that's dumped into their mouths by mama bird, and they just regurgitate and keep spitting it out and regurgitating it. There's 15% maybe somewhere around there, and then in the middle,
weak.
There's everybody else is in the middle. They can't decide, or they call themselves independents. They can't commit to this, and then
they're afraid of what other people think.
I'm talking here.
I just kind of threw that in there. It was sometimes. Go ahead.
The heck. So sometimes they talk. Just go. Just say what you were going to say.
I was adding to what you were saying. I wasn't stepping on you.
Why can't we all just get along?
I don't know why I just didn't use the solo button.
Wait, you have a solo button?
I got a solo button. I didn't even know it. I got a solo button.
Yeah, he has the power. We got nothing, Paul.
I could sit. Really? I could hit this. You know what? You ever watch the talk or listen to the talk shows on TV, and there's a guy asking a question, and all of a sudden you don't hear him anymore, but you hear the host. He hits the solo button. But I don't know, Joe. What do you think? I think the back and forth is better than the solo button.
No, I agree. I want to be able to interrupt you if I want to.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying, but anyway, it was a very
important
talking about
point. The different percentages of who's susceptible, who isn't, and the retards in the middle who have varying degrees of one or the other.
Of loyalty. What drives me crazy with that stuff is like, well, sometimes I vote for the Democrat, but then I look down and I see the Republican has some good. The Republicans are fiscally responsible, but the Democrats, I really like their. So I want to take a pill to kill my baby.
I just got to say, I love that voice that you do. Just want to put that
I appreciate it. I'm not sure where I conjure that up from.
I was going to say that's a bit too effeminate for my taste there.
Well, you know what? Woman face is the new black face, so we're allowed to appropriate apparently.
Apparently you can change. Like you can talk black, you can talk Asian, you can talk in the hood. Yeah. Whoever you're talking to, you're allowed, according to the Democrats, you're allowed to change the way you speak.
You know what I don't hear very often? I don't hear a lot of Chinese talk show hosts talking in English.
Very good, Jim.
Like mocking English. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Like if you were gonna, I will go do this show, and I want you to and then break into an English voice, like straight English. No, I'm mocking American white men.
Well, if you notice,
you never hear that.
I think the left stays away from the Asians because they're too smart. They. Well, Asians got a lot of smart people, so the Democrats gotta stay away from them.
It's funny because and I'm gonna speak for everybody on this call. Asians, we used to make fun of. We didn't call them Asians; we called them Chinamen or whatever. We used to make fun of them the most. It was all in good. Nobody cared. The Chinese restaurants. We did
made fun of everybody, and it was a better world.
Yeah. And what do you think they did when they went in the back?
Right.
I spit American food. They did the same thing to us. It was all in good fun.
Don't you remember the joke? Chink, give me a drink.
Yeah.
I disavow.
Sorry, we don't certain everyone.
Yeah, trust me, I am every phobeist and ism whatever.
Hey,
look. List. And I'm signing up for the newsletter.
The English language has doubled in size just with phobe and ism.
Oh, really?
Please.
Because you can put ism on anything now.
By the way, getting back to your percentages of who are easily manipulated, who aren't, and who are, quote, independent, whatever that is. At this point, if you're still middle of the road independent, you are worse than the enemy in my view. You are the people that God will spew out of his mouth. You are the lowest of the low. It is time. Pick a side and man up.
Yeah. Stop being lukewarm.
Yes.
Pick the right side.
Yes. Well, I don't care. Stand opposed or stand forth with me, one or the other.
Yeah. Lead, follow, or get out of my way.
Yeah, there we go.
So the walls are closing in, and now the big Stormy thing, she's the front center of attention. And it's interesting, but, people don't really get who she is. So I did this immense amount of research and found something called...
well, you did your job?
Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Well...
I don't believe any of that right-wing...
Well, look, let me tell you something. When you're typing in Stormy Daniels in the search engine, whatever search engine you choose, make sure there's no kids in the room or you got your filters on, because you're going to get every freaking porn thing in the world that comes up, So an hour later, I made it to Wikipedia.
I hope you cleansed your system, because, when they come to grab your equipment, there may be something on there that, can cause you trouble in a court of law. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's possible. I didn't know her name was really Michelle.
That is just too perfect. Too perfect.
It's very fitting, actually.
actually, that was planned, Joe. So, that's an inside joke that just us know. Her name is actually Stephanie A, and I don't know what the A stands for. Stephanie A. Gregory Clifford. But I think she just goes by Stephanie Gregory or Stephanie Clifford or whatever. Maybe she was married a couple of times, but also obviously professionally known as Stormy Daniels, because she's a pornographic film actress, and then a director. But she's a whore. Yeah, she's actually a stripper. I'm not going to go over the whole her rewards and stuff, because in the porn community, I'm not really. We'll put it this way: I don't really care about the stupid Hollywood stuff, those awards. So I care less about these. You talk about a circle jerk. But interesting, yeah. She's obviously had parents, Sheila and Bill, which were divorced. Yeah, a couple, I think 3 or 4 years after she was born. I don't have to think. I guess I could just look at it. And then, of course, her mother raised her, and I bet her mother's proud right now.
Yeah.
I bet her mother was a real piece of work.
Yeah, you know what? That would have been a good one. We could do who's Stormy Daniels' mother? But she did actually have some mainstream appearances along the way. I think she did like if you want to call Real Sex, I think it was an HBO series or something. But anything and everything she did was based on that type of genre, plus the Celebrity Big Brother stuff, which I've never seen. And politics-wise, she actually, from what I was reading, declared herself as a Republican. I think she even actually ran locally at one time.
So she voted for Trump?
No, she did not. Not according to peers. She did not. She married Michael Monsney 2007 to 2009. That was a record marriage. What else? She was arrested in July 2009 pertaining to a domestic violence charge by him. In 2015, she was married to Brendan Miller, and none of this really matters. I'm just giving you some background just to let everybody know that she actually is a person, and not a very bright one at that. Columbus, Ohio, she was arrested for some stuff, probably lewd and lascivious in a strip club. Probably showed something she shouldn't have showed. But as far as that goes, there's an actual awards list, and she actually got the 2006 Fame Award for favorite breasts. So there's that. These are all things that you want to put on your tombstone. But,
okay.
So I mean, that's the dry Wikipedia version of who she is, and of course we all know her as Horseface. So, but that's Trump's favorite nickname for her.
Do we know how this came about with like Avenatti?
Yeah. Actually, let me play this clip. This is kind of an intro clip, so we kind of get the feel for. Listen to it, and you'll see what I mean.
What I've been struck by is a lot of women, I know actually, quite high-profile women, they find you very admirable. They think that you've actually grown to represent female empowerment, the way you stood up to power, the way you've refused to back down, the way you fought your corner, and the way you've defended your industry when many people have, as you say, tried to sort of dehumanize you and shame you for it, and you've had none of that.
Right.
Has that been nice for you to see a lot of women actually come around and now be on your side?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially, people who work in the adult industry. That was a big deal for me. There was all these misconceptions that people in our industry either work in that business because they can't do anything else, because they're too stupid to do anything else, or they're broken, or they're, failed at mainstream actresses or whatever. I'll tell you right now that some of the smartest women I've met have been in the adult industry.
Really? Well, it's definitely not her.
Like totally. I am totally stoked that they dig me. Because we're like really smart. We're not dumb like people say. You know what I mean?
The most. What did she say? The smartest people that she's ever met.
Yeah, sound like Joe Biden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arthur is the smart.
They just happen to be working in the porn industry.
Yeah. Okay. Well. I don't know if we want
the adult entertainment industry.
I don't know if we want to go there, but I don't know if you know who runs the porn industry.
Well, now you got to tell me.
The same people that invented streaming.
Yeah, something like that. They tend to run a lot of news outlets and TV stations, and they're big in like Harvard and a lot of doctors and professors
and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and they got tiny hats.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It is part of the plan. I know we say that a lot, but this porn goes, and it's interesting if you go back to look at some of the what's his name with the pipe in the pajamas, the Playboy guy, and then that retard in the wheelchair,
Larry Flint. Yeah.
Larry Flint, that whole thing. These guys are they're actually pathetic. But that first soundbite was to just get you a little like. Okay. Yeah. The smartest people I ever met. Yeah. Shove their in my. So, okay. I wonder what kind of discussion she had, like offset or during the fluffer sessions or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know, but what's his name is an idiot. Pierce Morgan. What a. I don't like to use the nasty slang language for a woman's privates, but. That's what he is. What a you know what?
Well, you know what? He's a non-American acting like an American. Get out of our country. We don't need to hear from you.
Yeah,
you're such a phobe.
Yeah.
Phobe. The funny part is he was acting like because I took one for the team, so to speak, and watched this an hour and a half of this garbage, and he was acting like a giddy little schoolboy.
You don't have to do that, You can just watch the highlights.
Okay. Yeah, but if you don't get Joe, if you just watch the highlights, then you sound like the lemmings that repeat the same line. I had to dig for some juicy parts that nobody else is going to play.
All right, go ahead.
We're not just a couple of three guys. We're doing some special stuff out here.
We're doing the Lord's work here.
Yeah. So don't forget to go to 10mmm.org, get on the website, hit us up.
Yeah, I need a double cup of coffee over here. Please.
Double cup of coffee. Buy us a cup of coffee. Hit the site. You can push the button and support us because we need it. And anyway, the whole thing came together when this loser Avenatti and I you could do soundbite after soundbite on this guy and how he was the next thing since the next best thing since sliced bread. Oh, remember little Seltzer, Brian Seltzer with the little bald head that got fired?
Yes.
With his feet
Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. Oh, you're like presidential.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
He was on his knees.
He just got hired again. Humpty Dumpty got hired again by
I thought he was working for
I know, but
Harvard.
Now they hired him over at like Vanity Fair or the Atlantic or some crap like
He was too smart for Harvard. They had to let him go. So,
Well, no, he's a professor over there, man.
yeah, he's a professor. Like I'm a freaking a professional basketball player. So Avenatti was the pimp daddy that hooked up with this porn star to go after Trump because then the 130,000. And we don't need to know all about that. That's not what this is about. But this guy ends up getting found guilty on a wire fraud,
Extortion,
identity
wire
theft.
fraud, yeah, right.
What is he
wrongfully
skimmed
pocketed-
didn't he like skim like $300,000 off her money that she got her retainer?
$300,000 of an $800,000. You do the math of an $800,000 advance.
Yeah, well, Gubby's working hard for her.
Yeah,
Come on, listen. I give him a lot of respect for that, actually. So
yeah, she works hard for her money.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this guy is the definition of the sleazy lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
That oily. He's
Yeah.
Italian, isn't he, Avenatti?
whoa.
Sicilian, I think.
He's Sicilian.
That's
right?
not Italian, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
But and early on, I picked him out as a scumbag right away.
Yeah.
And then I found out he was like a race car driver, and I was like really bummed out, man. I'm like, damn.
Really? I did not know that.
He raced like Le Mans.
Well,
and
so is
crap.
Lewis Hamilton. All right, so
Yeah. Okay.
I got to find that duck from the $64 question with Groucho Marx. So, so her book was called Full Disclosure. How clever was that? Okay. My guess is she probably got a room full of 8th graders together and said, with a low cut blouse on, and said, "Boys, I need to come up with the name for my new book about an affair I had with Donald Trump." And then they said Full Disclosure would be cool. So it's a play on words. But anyway, so he's the scumbag, and I think he's still in jail or prison.
Yeah.
Is he not?
is, Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go to clip 2 because this is interesting, and I coined this clip, not my fault, and we don't have any Avenatti. This is all Stormy because this is her show.
I mean, if you chart back the genesis of this court case, if he hadn't, through his lawyer, which is what the allegation is, paid this money to you, he wouldn't be sitting there.
Right. And that's a lot, a lot of the nasty messages and stuff I get really feel like it's my fault that, that I've made America the laughingstock or I'm the fall of democracy. I wish I had that much power, but
well, your only crime, it seems to me, is that you
told the
paid,
truth.
Well, you got paid $130,000, and someone's got to explain why you got paid that. I mean,
right, which I didn't even realize the gravity of the situation at the time, or the repercussions of that. But I'm not responsible for all of his bad behavior or the charges against him by any stretch. I'm sure there's just more than we can even imagine. I think he even goes on trial in a couple of weeks for rape.
So those are the juicy bites. Did anybody know that Trump is going on trial for rape? Did you know that?
I did know that, yes.
Wouldn't that be? I'm pretty sure that would be defamation of character for her to even say that.
No, that's I don't know if it's exactly rape, but he's going on for sexual assault. That crazy, ugly lady said that Trump assaulted her in the freaking dressing room of the Waldorf freaking whatever back in the 90s or something. And this chick is like,
that's a valid. Yeah, that's a valid story. But this to the average person, in order to be on trial for rape, there would have had to been an arrest, an actual arrest, charges, an arrest. He wouldn't have been. Well, in this, it wouldn't have been, but he wouldn't have been out.
No, they're still. I think they just deposed him like today or yesterday.
Yeah, that was from Tisha James. That was for some other lawsuit crap in because they
that's
can't
over the business thing.
Yeah, and this is another weird, very weird, strange thing. They can't get him on all of these so-called criminal charges because there aren't any. So now prosecutors are using civil action.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented. And anybody out there that's listening that doesn't think there's something wrong with this, picture anybody else in a situation but Trump, any other major political character.
Picture yourself in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. Get your sycophantic, obsessed views of the orange man bad out of your head and ask yourself when nobody's around, is this good for this country?
Yeah, and let me throw in this piece of brilliance for any of you retards out there who don't get it. They've been going up Trump's freaking colon with a spyglass and a couple of drug sniffing dogs for 6 years. The entire weight of the government, the FBI, the DOJ,
everybody,
and they found nothing. Yeah. This guy has got to be a friggin' Boy Scout compared to most politicians that are out there. Obama, are you freaking kidding me?
You couldn't go near him with a drug sniffing dog.
That's right. Oh. Yeah, you did know that he's a coke fiend, right?
Well, he's admitted it. He's.
Oh, did he?
He has admitted that he was a coke user when he was in college.
And let me tell you something. I guarantee if you pulled him over right now, he has a pocket full of poppers.
Probably.
So before we get too far away,
he's probably selling to the local schools over there in Nantucket. So come on.
Yeah. Before we get too far away from the Piers Morgan thing, do all British people sound like freaking homos?
Yeah.
Beta baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the teeth.
Again, why do we have some British guy?
I think it's the tea.
Doing
yeah, it could be the tea too.
Working in our country, in our media. Let him go back to freaking Britain. He can't get a job there, so he comes here to get a job. Come on.
Yeah, where's he working for? Fox?
I think he's working for Fox now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that was an NPR thing anyway. But anyway,
was it? Okay.
So Daniels met with Trump. Was it 2006 during a one of those golf things? Trump's an avid golfer, celebrity golf championship. There was an article in Touch. I think it was In Touch magazine. Of course, I don't read this crap, but I dug it up. And they met on the golf course. Trump was being introduced, to everybody in his path because everybody wanted to meet him,
And she was the beer girl or whatever.
Yeah, shot girl. Yeah. So, they ended up kind of catching eyes. And
in other words, she stalked him.
Right.
Well, according to this story, and I don't necessarily believe it, but I'll read it anyway. I want to come up and talk to you later. Daniel said Trump told her, and this is probably out of her book, but it was an interview with In Touch. And she claimed later that he asked for her number, invited her for dinner, and she accepted. And then she said, "Who would pass up an opportunity to talk to somebody so interesting? I wasn't trying to date him or anything like that." So,
I'm sorry, but when somebody asks you at the dinner, that's a date.
Well, in all fairness, in her defense, she probably doesn't know the difference. She engaged in a lot of gratuitous sex without so much as a freaking kiss. Okay, right. So she didn't know.
Yeah, and to think that she didn't target like the most famous guy on the planet,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know this for a fact. She can sue me if she wants because she needs the money, but I don't. I'm pretty sure she's a gold digger, and she knew who Trump was and was either going to put a notch on her freaking G-string or get something out of it.
Right.
Now, she comes off like she comes off like, oh, I didn't even know anything about the 130,000.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a billionaire.
Like what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then that's that 130,000. Well, you could just call that a non-disclosure agreement. But anyway, here's another clip to kind of sum up her how she was paid to tell. This is interesting. And Joe, another clip that everybody's not playing.
They agree to tell your story to In Touch magazine for $15,000. It was reported. Is that correct?
Yes.
Why did you want to do it then?
Okay, so I didn't. I had just had a baby. Do you have children?
I do.
Okay, so your wife would know. Nobody wants to be photographed or fight or do anything when that has just happened and you can't even stand up straight and you look, like you just had a baby. And like I said, the story was everybody knew, hadn't talked about it in years. I am now married to someone who's a little emotional sensitive. We just had a baby, whatever. And I got the call that someone had basically sold the story and LinkedIn. They were sniffing around. I have no evidence of who that is. I'm 90% sure I know who it was. I just can't prove it. So I have to be very careful what I say. And I was like, nope, absolutely not interested. And then, finally he comes back and they're like, well, he's going to, this person's going to tell the story and get paid unless you want to do it instead. It's going to come out anyway. Would you rather it be your version and you get the money, or this other person's version and you get nothing and they've made money off of you?
So you decided to do it.
So I decided to do it.
Well, she's
Really?
freaking annoying.
Is that the Inquirer thing?
Oh, that's the In Touch story.
I know, but
$15,000.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Paul. That was the original. Yeah, 15,
where she says the other guy. Is that the guy she's talking about from the Inquirer?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, it sounds like it could be. I don't know.
Whose baby did she have? Does she even know?
She don't know. I mean, come on.
I don't even know if she actually had a baby, because she said, and I've obviously have not had a baby, even though apparently I can now. I have to look into that. I can menstruate and have a baby according to the freaks on the left. But anyway, she was like, and anybody's had, have you had kids? If anybody knows, nobody wants a picture taken, and I couldn't stand upright. I'm like, you couldn't stand upright? Let me tell you something. Old mamas 60 years ago, 100 years ago, were popping them out across the freaking living room and then going in and cooking dinner. They never even made it to the hospital. This one can't even stand upright because she popped the baby out. And let me tell you something else. It was no great feat popping an 8-pound baby out of that hole.
She needed a few stitches to keep it in for full term.
Couple of C-clamps.
Yeah. So what are you talking about, lady?
C-clamp. Oh, no.
That was probably part of one of her movies. But it's an interesting topic, but this that happened back in 2006 is why we are here at this table today.
Yeah. Can I mention one thing?
Of course.
None of this stuff is illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
I just want to know who the hell would marry her. What kind of a person is he?
I don't know. A guy who thought he might get a payout.
Beta baby. I don't know.
From his wife suing a billionaire.
I'll put it this way, because I did process that question slightly. If you're married to a plumber, all right, you're not necessarily going to get plumbing at home, because you know that old saying, a plumber's house always leaks. Yeah. If you marry a woman and she's an accountant, you're probably going to have to go pay to get your taxes done, because she don't want to do your taxes when she comes home. So you marry a porn star because you think you're going to get some kind of grade A, triple A experience. Yeah, probably wrong.
So what you're saying, he's gay?
I don't know, but I know her first marriage lasted 2 years, and she was busted for domestic violence. So that's all you need to know about that relationship. Jeez, oh man. But so that's it. This is the problem that we're having today because of this. Because, like Paul said, nothing here is illegal. So I don't get the whole thing. The media made us believe that hush money is hush money. Hush money, hush money, hush money. That was so bad. There's nothing wrong with hush money. Nothing wrong with non-disclosures. Ethically, morally, yeah, I don't know if you actually had an affair. She claims in writing that there was no sex, so I don't know.
Now, what was it, 130,000, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's be realistic about 130,000.
Yeah.
To 130,000 to a multi-billionaire, it's like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea that Trump even knew that this was being paid off is probably low odds. He's like, he got a bill from that other piece of garbage, his attorney Cohen. He's like, yeah, whatever. Here's a check.
Yeah, you're right.
He ended up leaving her completely out of the non-disclosure agreement. He said, "Yeah, whatever, you're out." I gave you. He let her out of it for nothing.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't do whatever you got to do.
Yeah, what does he care? Just go away is what it was.
Go,
so
yeah,
go. But there you have it. It's wrapped it up in a neat little package. We'll put a bow on it. And we're here because of her. I'm saying that tongue in cheek because that's really what she wants everybody to believe. Wait for the next book to come out. Maybe it'll be called My Dark Hole or something. I don't know. Meaning the hole she has in her heart.
Yeah, and this is a low odds thing. The chance that they can get this to work, trying to flip it to a felony by pulling in the. So I'm not really too, and I think he might be convicted, but this is all just greasing the wheels for the other ones to come.
Exactly.
I don't think it's ever even going to make it to a courtroom.
No, it won't. But there'll be some kind of a deal concession or something. But we'll find out. But yeah, Paul's right. This is the first domino to make it easy. So anyway,
it makes it easier for the other, grand juries and jury pools and all.
So we'll follow up, and if it's that exciting, and at least we got back on this week, guys. It was great, and nothing like getting together and chatting it out. I know the pre-box stuff.
I hope you all had a great Easter. Spent some time with your family.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys.
Have a good night. We'll be on time next week. Good night from New Germany.
And good night from me as well.
Ciao.